All right. Hopefully the biohazard one went up because it's kind of the subplot of what's going on here. Not really. I mean, we're Passio talking about being a sovereign. You are your own king, master of your own programmable flesh bot, and you have some responsibilities when it comes to all that. First and foremost, you're not property. And I tend to manifest that all in language regarding consumption and control. So, just in case it comes up, it's the consumers who wish to be enslaved. So, rewards or benefits can trickle down to them. And those who wish to control, who want to be sovereign, lord, and king, masters, or mistresses of all. For clarification, otherwise, let's go.
This is the kingdom we need to master, and we need to set aside the concept of mastery and slavery in the external domain, in the physical world. Sovereignty, a sovereign is a monarch, which means a single ruler who rules only the kingdom of self. Sovereignty is a state in which one controls one's own thoughts, emotions, and actions, and by bringing them into unity or non-contradiction or non-duality, attains mastery over one's own consciousness. Sovereignty could be considered the equivalent of true self-control, true self-mastery, true self-love, or true self-ownership. It's all of these things. And ultimately, it means not a slave. That's what has to be remembered above all else. Let's look at the negative internal expression for natural law, which is confusion. Now, confusion results when we are in ignorance. That's the emotional dynamic, the feeling that takes place within the individual. This is the lack of understanding. Confusion only happens in a lack of understanding. When we have not taken in knowledge, because we are afraid, we are in fear, okay? Ignorance results, and then confusion happens internally. So look, remember, here's the essence, that's the foundation. This is that first stage, that first building block that we called knowledge or lack thereof. Okay? This is the second building block that we called understanding or lack thereof. This is true understanding when truth has been taken in and accepted. And this is the lack of understanding. Now, in that state of lack of understanding, we're confused. So there's no rulership within. Inside of us, there's anarchy, which means the absence of ruler, of a ruler.
I went with chaos, but I'm struggling with this right now.
Which means the absence of ruler, of a ruler, not the absence of rules, which I'm going to get into later. Anarchy means there's no ruler, no master. So if there's no master inwardly, we have a big problem, because that means there's no self-mastery, there's no self-control, there's no self-discipline, and ultimately, there's no self-love. And that results in an understanding that we don't truly own ourselves. It would result in the absence of self-ownership, which is what we're experiencing as a species. That other people believe they own other people. This is what I found as a...
I very likely am hiding duty, loyalty, and work ethic behind what my dad and Ange believe is. They don't. They think I'm working. I only work like 40 hours a week. I work a normal job. Is it spread out all week? Travel time and other things? Do I play bags for the team? So it seems like I'm away there. Now Ange comes with, so it's different. But the point is a lot of people see it as, probably age, heavy workload for all things being equal. When I don't think that at all. I actually think it's bringing forth some really good stuff. But other people don't see it that way. Part of myself is probably misled because I let other things. There are lots of irons in the fire, but I'm only poking the flames with one right now. Weak, but that's what I got.
People.
Okay.
This is what I found as a picture representing confusion. Someone who doesn't know themselves. Doesn't know themselves, completely attached to a ego identity. Their whole mind is all wrapped up. I believe I'm this businessman. I believe I'm this banker. I believe I'm this lawyer. I believe I'm this doctor. And that's my identity, and if something goes wrong with that, there goes my identity. There's who I am down the drain, you know? So this negative aspect of the internal...
So I thought I understood, or I thought I was coping. I thought he was nailing it, but then I'm like, wait, nope. It's only fragments left. It's not the whole. It's nowhere like the person who started down this path years ago. Well, that was still using, abusing, taking, consuming, and then falling prey to the games, the traps that make up all that. So it's very interesting, to say the least. Now it's I think a final chapter, Act 3, that I'm wishing to, I don't know. I mean, I hate to use a fantasy novel metaphor, but, you know, the walking stick and the cloak got to be coming soon for the last quest. You know, you're probably another class to start out the books. Maybe you're just a barbarian fighter, brawler. And then you learn to shoot, so maybe you picked up a bow for Act 2. Maybe lost someone special, made some changes in your direction. By Act 3, you're ready to cast spells. You know, get into the wizarding class, not, you know, J.K. Rowling-esque, but Lord of the Rings-esque. Gandalfian, you know, which I'm nowhere close. Make myself a lot smaller after making that boastful comment. Not close, but possible.
With that, there goes my identity.
Yeah, because I don't have a problem with that. My identity is not tied. Am I maybe enslaving myself with work ethic and misplaced loyalty? Yes. Identity, I didn't even know I was going to be able to cook again. It's never been my thing. It just was something I was into. It is one of a varied skill set and more body appropriate. The miles I put on there, I can handle. The miles I put in, I can't compete with the 18-year-olds at the factory, but that's what they think I can do. No, they're not going to break me for money. I just turned the page and decided to apply a different sort of mechanical effort with a lot less friction and resistance and weight attached. I could have drove all day too. That's still work, but not the same toll. Man, I wish it was the 70s and I was doing this shit on a CB as I run across the country. That'd be fun.
There's who I am down the drain.
Nah, I know who I am.
So this negative aspect of the internal expression of natural law is confusion, or what I call internal anarchy, meaning no ruler within. Confusion is the state of mind in which the being is ruled by fear and ignorance. Confusion could be seen as internal opposition within one's own consciousness. In other words, being torn apart from within in such a way that one's own thoughts, emotions, and actions are in perpetual contradiction with each other.
Fair enough.
Thought, emotion, and action are not in alignment. As we think is not how we truly feel and is not how we act. There's total contradiction and separation. No unity amongst those three aspects of consciousness. That's confusion. The fourth expression of natural law is what happens externally in the macrocosm, in society. When you have a bunch of people who are in either this dynamic within their own consciousness, or a bunch of people who are in this dynamic in their own consciousness, a state results in the society at large. because the society at large is comprised of the aggregate quality of the individuals that comprise that society. All right? So if there's love present and knowledge has been taken in and it's been understood and we understand that we're sovereign and we're expressing self-ownership and self-mastery, what state manifests in society? Freedom. There it is. Freedom can only manifest when those preceding conditions are in place. It cannot magically manifest by any other means. If we say we want to be free, this is the path we have to take. Consciousness, acceptance of truth, and an understanding of our own sovereignty through self-mastery. It can't happen any other way. It's not possible. Okay? So, this is what the picture I chose for freedom. This is actually from the cover of probably one of the greatest books I think that's ever been penned by human hands. And I've read a whole lot of books in my life. And for me to say that, it's a high compliment. Okay? I think I'm a pretty good judge of books that can impart some wisdom to people. And I'm telling you, you need to read the book, The End of All Evil by Jeremy Locke, if you haven't already read it. This is one of the cover image from that book. Very rare book. To find it physically online, if you find it at a decent price, snatch it up and give it to other people or sell it to other people. Okay? I had a physical copy of this book. I lent it out, took off. Forgot who I lent it to. It happens, right? But this was a rare book. I think it was only pressed a couple thousand and it was never repressed. So it's a single printing or something like that, never repressed it. Now, you'll find that book for $150, $200 in some places, right? I finally found it at some foreign source online for like 20, 25 bucks and jumped all over it, and I finally have a new physical copy of it. One of the books, along with Larkin Rose's book, The Most Dangerous Superstition, that if I had to tell you, destroy every other book on earth, it would be down to these two. You know what I mean? It's that much. They're that important. This is the cover image from that book, with chains being broken that were formerly holding the earth in captivity. I think it's a great image that represents what freedom is about. It's not about my freedom. It's about our freedom. It's about freedoms for all beings. And guess what? Our, when I say that in relationship to the earth, doesn't just mean human beings. It means all beings, including the animal kingdom. So the positive aspect of the...
Sorry. Unfortunately, that I revert right back to, we need that one delicious animal that likes being cooked from a restaurant at the end of the universe. I'm a horrible meat eater. I admit that part.
External expression is freedom, or what I call external anarchy, meaning externally there are no rulers. There is no condition of masters and slaves. Okay? So that's what anarchy actually means, the absence of slavery. That's what it really means. True freedom for all should be seen as the goal of spiritual development. Such a state can only manifest as a result of human society's adherence to natural law.
So my biggest fear is, boy, we could really embrace that, futuristic endgame that the artist renderings of make look so beautiful. It's like, it's like Demolition Man, but the people who like living, they don't like living down there, but they got really comfortable. Oh. How do we move to a state where the people who don't want to do anything can actually safely maintain themselves without being a drain or a hindrance to society? And if your kid's playing in a park full of dirty needles, that's a hindrance. We wouldn't be able to look the other way on those subjects. But then that beautiful artist rendering of the futuristic landscape wouldn't be able to come with so many control systems attached, but the control systems are what keep us from bashing each other's heads in with rocks. I get our mindset is not prepared for freedom, which breaks my heart.
Can only manifest. Not just will manifest, the only way it is possible for it to manifest is if we understand and adhere to natural law.
Yeah, I get
Okay,
it.
so that's the positive external expression, what happens in society. Now, there's a negative external expression, and you can call it multiple things. You can call it totalitarianism. You could call it slavery. I term it simply control, externally imposed control. Okay, it doesn't mean, self-control. It means literally someone outside of your own being is trying to control you and own you. So yeah, a good way of looking at it would be slavery as well, because control leads to slavery. Control is what I call external monarchy, meaning there's a ruler from without that believes they do own you and wants to continue to own you as their subject or slave. And this manifests in things like the oncoming police state, which I wouldn't even say is oncoming, I would say it's here. Say we're already living in it. It's not something that's going to happen in the future, it's something that's happening in the present.
Now, at the time, it seemed scary. I was already free from a lot of the immoral ethical decisions because I didn't want to go back to the joint, right? So I never had run-ins with this brand of authoritarian control. Even though I watched Control Points and all kinds of stuff from 9/11 on, I did buy into it a little bit. Then I watched the entire defunding of authority in lieu of the therapists going to fight crime, and crime blew up everywhere. And I was like, oh, wait. The control system's only as scary as those wielding it. Once again, you'd have to get a lot farther down Passio's information. But the problem comes with order followers. Order followers been doing us wrong for a long time. And where's the mindset that you wouldn't follow an immoral order? But that's all we got. But it's weird how the police state vanished for a decade and turned into a defund the police, blow diminish numbers out of proportion, but then propagandize and indoctrinate a bunch of kids to engage in some of the most disgusting behavior we've seen ever. There is more atrocities going on in school than there is, stormtrooper beatdowns. But it took a lot of generations of fearing that to allow the other side to go after our kids. It's weird how I think all sides control. That's what I think they do. Indoctrination or force. Mind control or billy clubs.
People talk about it as something they're trying to avoid from happening. What makes people think it's not already happening? The negative aspect of the external expression of natural law is control, what I call external monarchy, one external ruler, the concentration of illusory power, in the hands of institutions like government. Control is the pathway to all forms of evil and destruction. It results when a society lives in direct opposition to natural law.
Because you should know better.
The fifth and final expression for natural law, how it operates in our lives, is what I call the manifestation, or the result that we create. So again, here's the foundation for that little 4-part building, right? Here's the first block, knowledge or lack thereof. Here's the second block, understanding or lack thereof. Here's the third block, wisdom or lack thereof. which is why we're in a society that's completely based in control, because we're drowning in knowledge and having a lick of wisdom. You know, we're very, very little, I should say. Certainly not enough to go around, okay? That's the action stage or the wisdom stage, what happens externally, all right? This is that top block. Remember the top white block that sat on top? We had the blue block at the bottom, then the red, then the green, and then the white block. This was the manifestation, the result that we create. Remember what little question I put on the top of that white block? Who can tell me what it was? The manifestation. No, the manifestation was either order or chaos. What do we ultimately create? So the positive manifestation is order, or what we would call all the things we say we want.
I remember the section.
Manifested goodness. Everything being okay, not creating self-inflicted chaos or suffering. This would be, we get what we say we want to get. And there's requirements for that, and here they are. There's the requirements. You got to be in this vibratory energy of consciousness. You have to accept the truth and develop knowledge. You have to have an understanding that you're a sovereign being, and you have to work toward the manifestation of true freedom. Then you'll have all the things you say you want. Manifested goodness and order in your life. And that's the only path to it. I'm telling you, that's the only path to it. Blanket statement. The human mind has a hard time with blanket statements.
He hates them. It admits over and over and over. But sometimes you got to understand, until we change our mindset and understand that we don't want to control each other. We will only keep controlling each other, probably so we can feed those who wish only to eat and consume, which becomes a moral dilemma, doesn't it? I think you're serving good by feeding those who don't want to feed themselves.
I'm telling you, that's the only path to it. Blanket statement. The human mind has a hard time with blanket statements. Has a hard time with always, every, without exception. The ego doesn't want to hear that. Again, humanity's greatest fear may be that the truth is absolute. I would say an even greater fear it has is that the truth is singular. That there's no such thing as my truth, your truth, his truth, her truth, their truth. There's just the truth, and whether we align our perceptions to it or not.
It came up in the biohazard, and we'll keep going. But it came up in there, and the deal was good sentiment, left, right, division, conquer, no more war, don't divide and conquer. Be done with that. Be done with war. Be done with this. Be done with that. But do we do any of the things that change those states from being in? And that was, it came up over there. So I'm just saying, it's still so pertinent to this stuff. I hope one person found their way. That would be awesome.
Truth, their truth. There's just the truth.
Yeah. And then like I was talking about, is extremes of behavior and belief systems. Well, what if most of that stuff is between you, natural law, and your desires personally? Has nothing to do with meeting, discussing, and finding a remedy for a situation. And I believe we're lost in the petty differences that make us seem unique, when honestly, if we're all governed by natural law, we're all the same. We're all that same sovereign being, capable of knowledge, love, freedom, and order.
Whether we align our perceptions to it or not. That's humanity's biggest fear. So this is what I viewed order as being like. Okay, we have beings that are actually full of the light, and they're working toward a world that is based in freedom, cooperation, knowledge, sovereignty, no control.
Okay, we haven't done a lot of jokes in this series, but honestly, they're going to get each other a Coke, because I felt that since the 70s on. Now, they were poisoning me with that sugar water shit, but yet I'd like to give them all a Coke, teach the world to sing.
It's what I call, in some of my former presentations, cooperative spiritual anarchy. which is the natural condition of humanity. The natural, meaning spiritual, natural condition of the human species that has been blocked from manifesting through mind control, indoctrination, fear-based, trauma-based methods. So that's what I call order, the positive manifestation, manifested goodness. It represents everything we say we want, and it only results when there is balance or justice. Justice comes about through adherence to natural law. Justice can only be present when truth has been accepted in our lives and our behavior has been brought into harmony with natural law. Cannot manifest any other way. That's the positive manifestation. The negative manifestation is the opposite of order, chaos. Chaos is manifested evil. I just put this as, complete disregard for other people, breakdown, me first. Knock everybody else down, get what I want. Don't worry about anybody else being hurt. Don't worry about
it's Christmas shopping.
Anybody else's freedom. Don't worry about whether anybody else's rights are being tread all over. Doesn't matter. Let me get mine. Self-preservation is the highest law. Survival is all that matters. Even if I have to step on somebody else to get it, to make...
This is why I, unfortunately, side with the social contract. And I usually tend to use the road as the indicator. How are people acting out there? Is a pretty good... It's the shopping cart theory. There's some barometers, thermometers, measuring sticks. There's a ruler to judge some of this by. I just think people ignore it because, well, they serve self. They're actually not carrying an instrument to reflect upon the world. They are inflicting their existence on the world for their own benefits. Yeah, I think I get this part.
That happen. Yeah, it's an animal. That's exactly right, sir. That's exactly correct. That's not a human being. That's an animal. That's how animals in the animal kingdom behave. And again, natural law doesn't work the same way for animals as it does for human beings because they do not have the same capacity for consciousness that a human being has.
Which why I believe some fall firmly in the middle of the food chain. Some can compete with a technologically advanced superior because they're so high on the natural order predator list, let's say. But, the tiger dropped in the ocean ain't doing that well. But then neither are we. Until we apply technology, and then next thing you know, we're going to the bottom and building shit. That's where my line draws. That's why I'm pretty sure cows are tasty, wonderful, and I could name it, live, grow. I mean, I don't know if I'd want to pamper it to make its meat better to serve me. I think I'd want to give it the best life I could, make baby cows, make fertilizer, and then when the time's appropriate and a life was had, also use it to sustain myself, make shit out of it, and hell, even like the indigenous population on this subject, I honor its spirit and its ability to nurture me. But damn right, I'm enjoying the steak.
So let's not start saying that's the natural order. No, it is not. It is the exact antithesis of the natural order. The natural order is just that, order. It's in the word, it's in the phrase. Natural
yes, I didn't mean natural order in the way I used it. I used it in the animal kingdom. Superiority, predator, and other alpha. Yeah, right. To be. Otherwise, I was a bad student there for a second. I get it. Order. I was thinking survival of the fittest, natural law. The animal kingdom, natural existence. There, maybe that's it.
What people are describing as the natural order through this utter nonsense concept called social Darwinism is, as I've called it before, psychopathic chaos. And break down that word. Psychopathology means an illness of the mind. Psychopathy is mental illness. Psyche in Greek means the mind. Okay? And pathology is an illness, sickness. Psychopaths are mentally ill. And they don't create anything resembling order. All they can create is chaos.
Psychopaths, chaos, destruction. That is a good spot. Till next Tuesday, we will pick it up with, that is a good place to start. Later.